When Claire and I got married. I thought we were building a life on partnership, respect, and love. We weren't kids anymore. We were both 30, both established in our careers, and both convinced we'd outgrown the immaturity of past relationships. But I couldn't have been more wrong. It started subtly. Small dismissals. I'd ask her if she could maybe help with dinner after a long day at work, and she'd roll her eyes, saying, "You can handle it, can't you? You're a grown man." At first, I brushed it off. She was tired, I told myself. Everyone has bad days. But over time, her responses carried more venom, more edge. One night, I asked her if she'd mind coming home earlier since I had a late meeting the next day and needed help with the kids. She looked straight at me, arms folded, and said, "You don't get to ask me things like that. I don't owe you anything. You're not my dad and you're not my owner." The words hit harder than she realized. It wasn't just about scheduling anymore. It was about respect. I wasn't trying to control her. I was trying to function as a team. But to her, any request from me felt like an attack on her independence. The bitterness didn't stop there. If I asked her about our finances, she snapped that it was her money, since she made more. If I questioned her late nights out with friends, she told me I was insecure. It became a constant push and pull. Her asserting dominance, me left standing in the wreckage of what I thought was an equal partnership. The breaking point came one Saturday morning. I suggested we sit down and make plans for a vacation since we hadn't had one in years. She laughed in my face and said, "You're ridiculous. If I want a vacation, I'll book one. You don't get to dictate my life." It wasn't the words alone that crushed me. It was the look in her eyes. Cold, dismissive. As if I were nothing more than a roommate she occasionally tolerated. That was when I realized. She didn't see me as her husband anymore. She saw me as an obstacle, a nuisance, someone to rebel against. And the man who had once believed in compromise and patience was suddenly staring at the ruins of his marriage, wondering how much longer he could take it. After that morning, something inside me shifted. I stopped trying to smooth things over, stopped excusing her behavior as stress or a rough phase. I began paying attention to the way she spoke to me compared to how she spoke to everyone else. To her friends, she was warm, generous, charming. To me, the man who shared her home, her life, and her bed, she was sharp, dismissive, even cruel. It was as if respect was a currency she spent everywhere but in our marriage. The final straw didn't come from another one of her insults, but from a revelation I never expected. One evening, her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. Normally, I respected her privacy, but this time curiosity got the better of me. The preview of the message alone was enough to make my stomach drop. It was from a coworker, a man named Daniel. "So, when's that hall pass happening? You know I'm ready whenever you are, winky face." My heart pounded in my chest as I scrolled through their thread. Weeks of flirty texts, inside jokes, plans that skirted the line of infidelity. And the most damning part? Her replies. She hadn't shut him down. She hadn't even hinted that she was married and loyal. Instead, she'd teased back, laughing, telling him, "Maybe one day my husband will finally approve." That night, I confronted her. I showed her the messages, my hands trembling, anger and betrayal boiling inside me. Instead of apologizing or even trying to explain, she rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic. It's just harmless fun. You don't get to police who I talk to." That sentence was the final nail in the coffin. Not just the words, but the tone, the utter lack of remorse. I realized she didn't see anything wrong with disrespecting me, with disrespecting our marriage. So I made a choice. Calmly, deliberately. I told her that if she truly believed I wasn't owed basic respect, then she didn't deserve the role of my wife. That night, I packed her bags and told her she needed to leave. She laughed at first, thinking I was bluffing, but when she saw the determination in my eyes, her laughter faded. For once, she wasn't in control of the narrative. The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork, awkward explanations to friends and family, and late-night thoughts about where everything had gone wrong. But as painful as it was, there was also clarity. For the first time in years, I felt like I was reclaiming my voice. The very thing she had been silencing with her sharp words and cold dismissals. She didn't take it well, of course. She tried to spin the story, telling her friends I was controlling, that I couldn't handle a strong woman. But here's the thing. Being strong doesn't mean belittling your partner, mocking their efforts, and treating commitment like a joke. Strength is building together, not tearing down the one person who's supposed to be on your side. The day we signed the divorce papers, she looked at me with a smirk, as if daring me to regret it later. But instead of bitterness, all I felt was relief. She had wanted freedom without responsibility, affection without reciprocity, and loyalty without offering the same in return. I wasn't losing a partner that day. I was finally freeing myself from someone who never saw me as an equal. In the months that followed, something unexpected happened. I found peace in small things again. Quiet mornings with coffee, long runs that cleared my mind, reconnecting with old friends who had noticed how withdrawn I had become during the marriage. And most importantly, I realized that love should never feel like a battlefield where one person always wins and the other always loses. She once told me I wasn't owed anything, that I didn't have the right to ask for respect. But now looking back, I see that respect isn't something you demand. It's something you deserve simply by being in a partnership built on trust. She never gave me that, and that's why she lost me. I don't know what path her life has taken since. Maybe she finally used that hall pass. Maybe Daniel became more than just a flirty text. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that I didn't let her rewrite my worth. Walking away was the hardest choice I ever made, but it was also the one that saved me. Because sometimes, the greatest act of strength isn't holding on. It's letting go of the person who never truly valued you in the first place.